Hello, race fans. Welcome to another episode of Short Track Guys Podcast, brought to you in part by Story and Black Roofing. We've got you covered. Metal, slate, tile, asphalt, shingle. We're locals you can trust. Story and Black Roofing right here in Pensacola, Florida. Give them a call. I'm your host, Thomas Faddis, alongside two of the same old short track guys in the studio as always. Jim Pokerhead, driver of the 07 Can'tQuitFishing.com sportsman and 2021 sportsman champion, and Ted Baber, or Ted Baber Video Productions. What's up, guys?
Greetings on.
What's happening, y'all? We got a lot to discuss from this past weekend. Whoa, what a barn burner of a derby this year.
This is the unscripted version.
Unscripted, don't have a whole lot written down.
We don't need it.
We don't need it.
No.
It's a ball of fun coming in this next half hour. Short Track Guys podcast style.
Buckle up, boys. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Hang on.
It wasn't too long ago we were counting down the days, and now we're counting down the days away.
Right.
The Snowball Derby, the 56th annual here locally in our backyard at Five Flag Speedway. We're gonna
emotional roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we will get to the big stuff here in a little bit. That was the big race on Sunday. How we get there, we're going to start on Thursday. If you know, our third annual video podcast or blogcast, if you will, was live at the track. Recorded at the track, I would say. Then we started Thursday with the Pro Trucks, the Sportsman, and the Pure Stocks. Kicked off the Snowball Derby weekend, and boy, I tell you what, it got off in a hurry.
Yes, yeah, awesome. The trucks were. Congratulations, Stephen Davis, on the trucks. Because let me tell you something. That dude is he is a legend around this area. Him and his dad both, and lead flag to flag, and Grant Thompson runs second to him, and Grant couldn't do anything with him at all. And Stephen, congratulations to him and his team. And Grant Thompson drove a great race. He drove several cars this weekend. I think he got in a modified I think he wasn't. I take that back. It wasn't. It was a 54. It was the same people that owned the truck, owned the modified, but he wasn't driving it. There was some other dude driving it, but Grant didn't make the show, I think, in the 100-lapper.
Right, yeah.
So, he had up and down weekend, and Trace Capers third, and that young man, he's coming on. Yeah. Let me tell you something. Next year, y'all better get that name in your psyche when he's driving that truck, because he's going to be tough.
He won one during the regular season. So.
Yeah, he did. And he run top five a lot. So
almost all the time.
Oh, yeah. And then the sportsman race, yeah. We got run away from. We got spanked. Yep. Well, I'm going to keep my comments to myself about that car, but he straight awayed us.
Let's just say a 5.5 second lead and leave it at that.
Well, we qualified ninth, but my motor was laying over. I got a fuel problem. I don't know what it is, but I avoided the wrecks because there were several of them that I could have been in the middle of. First lap, Corey Bodie missed a shift, stacked up the 32 and
51.
Yeah, the 51. Yeah,
right.
Howard Langham was driving his son's car because Jonathan was suspended for a little altercation with the 32 car actually at the end of the season. So it was ironic that those two got together early on. But we run there, and then there was one where the 29 was coming down. I thought he was going to right rear me and send me in the fence, but I got around that. Yeah. First year in a long time, I brought that thing home without any body damage. And this weekend is our church I go to is Beulah Bash. I get to take the car this year. So I'm kind of happy about that. Yeah. We got some work to do and we'll fiddle with it. I just, it's just been a frustrating season because there's some cars in our division that just, there's
more equal than others. Yeah.
Way over their head. They're just whooping everybody. But anyway, congratulations, Jane Patrick. He got it done. Chad Robbins come up and run second, and Brandon Fowler, the only Pensacola driver other than me that was in the race.
Right.
Wound up finishing. I'll take that back. Amico Joe was in the race, but they were running bad too. And Billy Hoover showed up, but he burned his clutch up.
Oh, and Joe Richburg, I see he's also, but he didn't start, unfortunately.
Yeah, he was there. They were having problems. Yeah. But congratulations to those three. It'd be good to see Brandon Fowler back and running up front. Yeah. And then the next one, what a great race, but my God, what a wreck fest.
Oh, yeah. I was down in turns 1 and 2 when Jimmy Hollingsworth got spun. He was headed right at me. I said, I think it's time to depart the area.
Well, the leaders, the 97, the 27, and 15 were sideways, side by side. Just driving in there sideways. And Loper luckily got back around to 27. I was just, they were battling. But the guys behind them were just wrecking. I mean, Dayton Sidner in the 22 and that 10 car, which was Lofton, that was his first race in a pure stock. It's killed on the right side. I'm surprised he had to break some bars and stuff. It just destroyed that car. And there was a couple other ones that came in that are just junk. The 8 car of Zach Barwick, who was a dirt bomber car, and he was running pretty good. He had my spotter, Zach Morris, spotted for him, and what a great race he drove, and then got turned around. And when your rear springs are laying parallel with the rear end and your fuel cell standing straight up, you went in the wall backwards hard.
Bad.
Yeah, it was a rough race. And I just want to thank Zach for spotting for me. I got to thank my sponsors, All Pools, Ted Baber.
Yeah.
Yep, thanks, Ted. And Can't Quit Fishing, James, I appreciate you. Emerald Coaster Modeling and Trim. I got to thank Donna's Vinyl for lettering the car for me. She did a great job. If y'all need some lettering, get with her. Just send me an email, and I'll hook you up with her. She did a great job on the car. And everybody was there. My buddy Will Hay, who hasn't been out all year, came out. It was great to see him. Rick Culbertson and his son Matt were there. And several other people I hadn't seen in a while. I mean, Neil Shearer.
Yeah.
In which, speaking of that, his brother is going to be running ARCA next year again. So we're going to get to probably talk to him sometime next year. And he's going to run Pensacola. And this year I'm going to go to Bristol when they go, because I missed out this last year. I'm not going to miss next time. But great job to all the drivers in the local divisions. I think the shows were really good. There's a full packed house, man. We had more people in the grandstands for a local show than we've had in forever. So it was, and the pure stocks made it exciting. So it gave them worthwhile.
It was good all the way around. Thursday
good
was
show.
Good.
Yeah.
And then came
Friday. Everything came early because of the rain.
Yeah, and I know that threw all the crew chiefs a little bit of a monkey wrench, because they're used to qualifying a little bit later when the track's a little cooler, temps are a little cooler. And they were like, oh, what do we do?
But my God, the cars that were in the last chance race.
Yeah, I'm sorry for Donnie Wilson. I mean, he had issues.
Oh, God, his cars were off. Yeah. And the Derek Kraus last chance qualifier, because he was in it again, but he didn't get to me. He didn't get in.
I talked to him about that, asked him what happened. He said, the car just got loose. I couldn't keep it under me. I don't know what went away, but he said it just...
But the qualifying was intense, as it always is.
0.3 of a second from first to last.
Yep,
that's it.
That's a lot. That's not much, really. You consider great show, and then we had the Modifieds of Mayhem,
which lived up to their name.
Oh man, Cody Stickler goes on the pole by a mile. Yep. Then they go, well, hey man, we'll give you $3,000 if you start from the back.
He said, okay.
Yeah, there was like 25, 26 cars. Drove from dead last.
Yeah.
Up to the win. We were betting, we were talking about me and Scott Wicker, and I said, dude, what do you think? He said, by lap 50, lap 46, he took the lead. And it was A, B, C.
Later. Yeah. I was in, again, 1 and 2 going, okay, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3 more.
And he missed the big wreck on the front stretch. The first lap, somebody missed a shift, and it just stacked up a boatload of cars.
It was all good, Fred. I mean, it was an intense qualifying effort, and I was watching some of the guys there on the front stretch and, walking around being nervous and everything. Jackson Boone was sweating. Let's see, who else was there? Was a couple other. Michael Hind, he was kind of sweating bullets, and then one of his crew leaned over the wall and said, okay, we've qualified this many. We got this many more to go. You're in. And Michael's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to watch. Yeah. But good night, another good race. Good night of qualifying was fun. And like I said, we moved everything up. We got it all in. Yep. The 25-lap Crown Stock race was that night, which ended up being the guy who finished third in the first Crown Stock race they had for the Derby. Yep. He ended up winning it. The 2-car that came from Indiana, he ended up wrecking while they were battling. And, Michael Lofton, a couple of our cars ran up front. I mean, the 17 car, I can't think of his name.
Ryan
Maxwell run third. Or did he finish second?
He was second.
He did up second. Yeah. And man, he run up front the whole race. That wasn't any kind of fluke. So, I mean, that Crown Stock race was a good race, and they were getting it. I mean, those cars were hauling butt around there. So that was another good show that night. It was an invitational. It wasn't the actual Derby race. It was an invitational to let the Crown Stocks get kind of a little show off on Friday night. So I think next year they're definitely going to be in the regular Derby. So that's going to be great for them. And a little rumor that I heard on the Crown Stocks while we got them up, Mobile International Speedway in March is going to have a road course for the Crown Stocks. Made at Mobile International Speedway. They're going to have chicanes. It's going to be I think a 4 or 5 right-hand turns, 3 left-hand turns, and 2 chicanes. So
that should be fun.
Eddie's he's a promoting genius, and that's going to be cool to see. I'd love to see those Crown Vics get around a road course. That's going to be pretty awesome. Just want to throw that out there.
Guys used to be making left-hand turns. All of a sudden, they got to turn what way?
Yeah. But you can't just put 15 in the left and 25 in right. You got to put 25 in all 4 tires and hang on and go like heck.
I've done that in the SCCA event in a little Ford Fiesta. I got to tell you, it's not easy.
Yeah. And then I guess we'll talk about Monday because it was supposed to be Saturday.
All right. Yeah, we can switch it around.
Yeah, we rained out Saturday. That was a mess.
Oh, good heavens, it was awful.
It was just raining. It was a good lazy day, though. We didn't have nothing to do. We just kind of hung out.
I can't talk too much about Monday, but we'll get to that later.
But, I mean, you weren't there. I mean, we had to.
There's a reason.
Thank the good Lord that Ted's still with us. He had a heart issues Monday morning. I'm at the racetrack, and I'm texting him, not hearing from him. I'm like, well, that's odd. Maybe he had to work. And then the promoter, Tim Bryant, calls me and tells me Ted's in the hospital. He's getting released. So me and Dawn jumped in my truck and went to the hospital, picked him up, and brought him out to his truck.
Yeah, and I have to send out some serious thanks to Tim and Pat and Shelley Burson-Ard and Faye Stokes. And I knew I was going to forget his name, but I'll think of it for taking care of me. And as we always say every other week, the best in the business, Escambia County EMS picked me up and hauled me to the hospital. And it was Steve McNair. That's the name I was trying to think of.
Well, so. then I picked you up to the hospital. We went got something to eat, and I dropped him off at his truck. So thank goodness Ted's here, and he's with us in the studio, and he's okay. Yeah, but Saturday ended up being a heck of a late model race.
Yeah.
The 100-lapper, Hunter Robbins sat on a pole and led, pretty much the entire race. But second place was a guy that we've never heard of.
Right.
A gentleman by the name of Mike Hopkins.
No, I've never heard of him.
I've never seen him anywhere. On any of the late model races that we followed, Thomas, have you ever heard of this guy?
No, I have not.
And dude, he gave Hunter everything he wanted the entire race. Yeah. And in third place is Stephen Nassy. Anyway,
okay.
But Stephen drove from the back. He did a good job in that race because he was off and he drove up through all those cars. So that was a pretty good show. The last chance race and the last chance race was pretty good. Those guys all got in. Great race. I enjoyed Saturday. And then the Outlaws was just Derek Griffin just opened up a can of a 55-gallon drum of whoop butt and poured it all over him because they couldn't get anywhere near him. And Jeremy Mayfield was in that race driving one of Bubba Winslow's cars and was doing a good job, and he had some overheating issues and had to park the car. Dang. They were pitted right next to Jerry Bowman, who I was helping. We ended up 12th, not bad. They were right next to us, and he was sitting on a golf cart, and he was talking to everybody, just, he's a nice guy. He's from Owensboro, Kentucky, which is the same hometown that my hero's from, so... I liked him when he was driving, but it was a good race, and Bubba Winslow wound up in the top 3.
Yeah.
So it ended up being a good show for him and his team. I mean, that was pretty cool to get somebody like Jeremy Mayfield to come down and drive one of your cars.
I'm glad to see Gary Goodwin got a top 5 too.
Oh, that was cool, dude. He drove up there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. He's been getting that car better and better.
Well, he keeps on working on it. You'll get there.
Oh, yeah, he will. And Gary's he comes from a good lineage of race car drivers.
Yes, he does.
His brother is one of the best dirt racers I've ever seen, Sean Goodwin. So good night. It was fun to watch. Got home in time enough to get some rest, and the Derby was over at that point. But then we go back to Sunday.
Yeah, back it up one day for the biggin.
The biggin. Dropped the green flag, and man, I mean... you had Bubba, you had Derek Thorne leading, you had Ty Majeski led for a while, and creeping in the background, just waiting for something to happen, was old Noah Gregson.
Yeah.
He was. I'd watch him on the race monitor. He'd creep up there. He'd gain on him, and he'd lose a little bit. And he'd gain on him, but he was there till.
Yeah, they had the big one.
Missed the shift on the front straightaway and stacked everybody up.
What a cars up.
Yeah, Derek Thorne was in it.
Yep.
Eric Jones was in it.
William Bowman was in it.
And what was really cool is Travis Braden was right in the middle of it, didn't get a scratch on the car and wound up in the top three.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Stack of cars got torn.
But we didn't talk about the last chance race, which ended up being who ended up winning that one?
Was it Preston Peltier? Peltier.
Peltier ended up winning it. Then
I like Timothy Watson got in.
That was awesome. That was awesome because he told you, and I heard the same thing, that he had a shock lockdown in qualifying, or he would have been in the show.
Yep.
That kid is a wheelman.
He said if the car was as good during all their practices as it was, during the race, the last chance qualifier, he'd be all right.
Yeah. And they ended up throwing out Carson Quapple for being an eighth of an inch too wide. Well, I mean, they have those rules and measurements for a reason.
Yeah, that's right.
And his brother made it, but he didn't. He ended up going home, and that put Kelly Moore in the race. And a lot of those guys in the last chance race actually finished pretty well. John Bolin made it in out of the last chance race.
He did.
And it was funny because we were down there, and every one of those cars on the right side had tire marks. Like, yeah, okay, dude, move. I got to go.
Yeah. But the timing between the LCQ and the race was real tight.
Oh, yeah. Well, they had to go. There was a small chance of rain on Sunday, and they wanted to get it underway, which, thank the good Lord, we all prayed the rain out because it was supposed to rain like hell Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it ended up only raining on Saturday. So we
got it all in one day and got it out of the way.
Yeah, great race. But, I mean, the race came down between Stephen Assey and Bubba Pollard and Derek, not Derek, Ty Majeski. And Ty was just licking his chops because...
Something's going to happen.
Yeah, they bailed off in there and wrecked, and I was just sick to my stomach. You know how I feel about Bubba. Bubba's my boy, and he got wrecked out. And Nassie was smiling about it, and it was a little frustrating. But congratulations to Ty Majeski. He happened to be the guy that was in the right place at the right time.
I know that the crew chiefs had to be a little bit interested, shall we say, because normally after rain you got a green track, but with that 50-lap LCQ, you kind of got a little mixed bag between a completely green track and not.
Well, thank goodness that the Toyota drying team was there with the jet dryers and the Air Titan. Hey, they dried the track down, got it race ready, so it ended up being a good deal. But, man, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better race at the end of the Snowball between two of the best in the business, and somebody screwed up and wrecked both of them. And that just, like I said, I was still mad about that. I'm still mad today about that, but it is what it is. But congratulations, Ty Majeski, two-time Snowball Derby winner.
Yep.
And he's one hell of a race car driver. He deserves every second of it. And Travis Braden sneaking into the top three was a cool deal. West Virginia driver.
I told Ty during the pre-race festivities there, talking about how, well, if you hear anybody call you the Timinator, that's my fault.
What'd he say?
He just smiled, laughed about it, so he thought it was kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good deal.
Nice nickname, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of big names that were there, and it was the big wreck kind of screwed everything up. It would have been probably 4 or 5 cars battling for the front if it hadn't been for that. Because, like I said, man, Noah Gregson was just kind of lurking in the background, like, "Come on, guys, I'm right here. Just we need another caution." But Derek Thorne surprisingly surprised everybody, set on a pole.
Yeah, imagine that.
3 years in a row.
Yeah, I know the Majeski. When they did the qualifying pull, he pulls the first Snowball, and he's like, "Oh man!" Well, but considering that he was the first one out, he had a darn good qualifying.
He did have a good lap. Yeah. He got lucky with that. What is it you call the owner of the 7 car there, Thomas? Paulie Schaefer's ride.
What do I call it?
You call Paulie Schaefer something. You get All Smiles or something. Paulie Schaefer.
All Smiles.
Yeah, I mean that car was on a rail too.
Yeah.
I mean, he middle of the race, he missed it a little bit, but he was there. If that wreck hadn't happened, who knows? Like I said, if and butts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
That's right.
But there's always next year. I'm convinced Bubba's the Dale Earnhardt of the Snowball Derby, and Earnhardt's Daytona 500. He couldn't win It took him 20 years. I hope it don't take Bubba 20 years to win a Snowball Derby. But
Well, we heard in an interview that he still has some room for improvement on that
car.
car.
If that car goes any faster, it's going to be a shame on him. I mean, he's mad, so he's going to go home and go, well, they want to play? Well, let's just play.
Well, I mean, the car wound up under Nassie's car. I don't know if Nassie was able to continue on, and Bubba
He
wasn't.
parked it. They both parked them. There wasn't no sense in keep going. They were both tore up bad enough that, when they both drove them back, but they were both tore up bad enough that it wasn't even worth it because you're not going to come from the back in 4 laps anyway, and
No.
you're just done. Plus, I mean, Bubba you could see it in his face. He was just frustrated and disgusted and angry, and I don't blame him. So, well, there's always next year. We had an awesome Snowball Derby.
Oh yeah, no
Great weekend. Good to see some. Like I said, I love the Derby because I get to see friends that I don't get to see all the time.
All right, because they all come down for that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the Louisiana bunch, old Mark and Jackie, got to see them. Hey, Thomas.
Right.
Yep. Good people. Good people. Good to hang around with. Good to see them every year. They said they're going to be back for the ARCA race. So hopefully we'll get to see them again. So
and
anyway,
that, folks.
that's man. You just had to let Monday evening leaving the racetrack. We were all just like, it's over.
Yeah, I left the racetrack about 7 o'clock at night, unfortunately. But, oh boy, it is what it is.
Yeah, at least you're okay. That's all that matters.
That's the big thing.
You're sitting here. It could have been worse.
Woke up north of the grass this morning.
That's right. That is a blessing.
North of the grass.
Yep. Still above ground. This friend of my daddy's used to say he's in his 90s. How you doing, Mr. Banaka? Still above ground.
There you go.
So
That's it.
That is a good thing.
yes, it is. Well, what do you think? I think
There's always next year.
There's always next year.
Well, that's a philosophy that we heard Bub also express too.
Well, he said he was
Kind
going to
of.
the Red Eye 50-50, so, that'll be interesting to see what he does, what his schedule looks like next year, because I'm sure he's planning on running just as hard and just as good as he did this year, so we'll see.
He might have a target painted on a particular car, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, he kind of owes him one, so you just never know what might happen.
I'm sure they both feel the same way.
Yeah, maybe. Well, kind of Bubba owes him two, because there was the one time at the Snowflake that he got done wrong, but it is what it is. It's racing. Stuff happens. We'll just hope we can get it done next year. I mean, before he quits racing, I want to see him with a Snowball Derby trophy in his collection, because if anybody deserves one, he does.
Well, I hope he does too.
He's led more laps than anybody who has not won the Derby. He has that distinction.
Was that him or Thorne?
No. For someone who has not won the Snowball Derby, he's led more laps than anybody else.
Right, up until last year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's always next year. We'll have to, see what happens next week and the week after that. And we'll be here informing everybody of what's going on in short track racing, because that was the biggest of the big. And it's over and everybody's done gone home.
Yep. Everybody knows that short track racing around here doesn't stop.
Nope.
The Snowball Derby is over, but the season
It's not.
is round the clock.
Yes.
Always something going on.
There will be big races to come. There are big races behind us. We finished up another episode with the Snowball Derby, but it'll be, like we were counting down the days until we are now, 7 days now past where we started a week ago. So
360 days till the next one or something like that.
Yep, something like that.
we'll be back again, talking big races that never stops. And we said this last year this time, short track racing never stops. It's round the clock. And we'll go on the next couple of weeks talking about big races coming up. And a lot of these big names that we've thrown around here are sticking to the walls now. They will be brought up again.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Yep, for sure.
Interesting day.
Yep. Good weekend though. Good for the track, good for the area. And it does help the economy around here. So it's a blessing. And the rain held off, so the good Lord looked out for us.
Yep. Got it all in. Everybody was safe. Everybody is
well, thank goodness Jackson Boone is. He left in an ambulance, but he's got a concussion, but thank goodness he wasn't any worse than what it was. That was an awful wreck he was in. I forgot about that. Yeah, prayers with you, Jackson. I hope you get better quick, man. We need you back, man. We'd love to hear your name announced by Robbie Harvey, so got to have you back.
Jackson, boom!
Yeah, I think Ted's overtaken that one.
Yeah.
Well, I had a kind of a personal bet with myself. How many seconds was Robbie Harvey going to stretch out the Bubba part? I said 3. He went for 5.
Oh, well, you didn't get the over.
Nope.
You might have got the under, but maybe you didn't get the over.
And I predicted a .75 to make the race. Slowest time was .803, so I was off by 500. I'm sorry.
Well, next year do a better job, Ted.
I'll try.
Jeez, get it right for God's sakes.
Got a year to practice.
That's right.
All righty, gentlemen. It was a good derby, and thanks everybody for being there. And we had fun Wednesday night doing our thing, and we're going to continue doing this. And got another year on the books. We're going to have some surprises, some guests, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we got a pretty good lineup coming up in January. I do want to give a shout out to Story and Black Roofing. Thank you for all your support in 2023. I know it's not over. We look forward to a big 2024 coming up with your support and all your efforts to put that Crown Stock and the Crown Vic. Well, I guess I could put a slash in between it now. It's Crown Stock / Crown Vic class growing every day now. We can't wait to see what's in store for 2024, and we do appreciate your continued support.
Yep, and thanks to the Muffler Mafia that gave us some helped us out earlier this year. We thank them for being there with us. Can't Quit Fishing. We had some business with them a year ago, and just thanks to everybody who listens and share us. Give us a good review, please. Buy a hat, buy a T-shirt. Help us out. We want to grow. We want to get bigger. We're going to try to go to video. We want to do YouTube. We want to do all stuff. We do it for the fans because you guys know that without you guys, we have no show.
That's right. We need your help.
That's right.
Well, gentlemen, until next Wednesday, when we get back together in the studio, Short Track Guys podcast style, it is going to be a
1,
2,
3.
Let's go, Brandon. Good night, everybody.
Be strong, America.
Thanks for listening.